how to buy a home. That's going to be today's topic that we're going through, which I'm super excited to. But beforehand, we have something extremely exciting that we talked about last week. If you can check out this cool basket. We did a giveaway, and Caitlin and I have done a raffle, so we've put all of your names. If you either shared, commented, or liked our video, we put your name into a raffle, and the winner is in this envelope. But, of course, I'm not going to open it until the end of the video. So at the end of the video, I will open this envelope, and I will let you know who won. So guys, my name is Savannah Shepard. I run Savannah Sells Homes. And if you didn't know by now, I'm a real estate agent here in Charlotte, Lee, and DeSoto County. And I help people purchase a home, sell a house, invest in real estate, or start in a real estate career. So if you have any family or friends, anything like that, that is interested in either four of those topics, let me know. I would love the opportunity to talk to them or even help them. But let's go back to today's conversation, which is how to buy a home in the home process. So if you come and are looking for a home with me, I am going to give you a booklet just like this. There's a whole bunch of information in here all about buying a home. But there is one particular sheet that I absolutely love, and it will walk you through the entire process of purchasing a home all the way until you get to welcome home, home sweet home, and obviously that means keys are in your hand and it's your place. But I am going to kind of walk us through that process today just on a short video, because I've had so many people come to me and say, Savannah, I've rented all of my life. I would love to buy a home, but I'm sure that would just be impossible for me. And that's got to be so difficult and complicated, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. Well, you can begin by watching this video, and that will certainly help you. Anyway, so the first thing you're going to do when you sit down and say, you know what, I think it's time for us to buy a home and stop renting and spending all of our money on nothing. I mean, you get a roof over your head, but that's about it. You're not putting any equity into your home or essentially into yourself. When you sit down and have that conversation, the number one thing you do is select a real estate agent. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent. I would love to help you. However, if you're not in Florida and you still need a real estate agent, you can call me and I can still help you find the right one, because it's very important to find a good real estate agent that has experience and knows what they're doing, because they're going to be handling a vast majority of this process for you, and especially the negotiation part. You want to make sure they've got that part down. That way you don't lose your dream home or you don't overpay for your dream home. So once you chose your real estate agent, then step 2 is choose a lender. Typically that real estate agent is going to have a great lender that they work with and that they highly recommend. I always say go with their recommendation. They've used this lender many times and they know he's a good lender, rather than just going to anyone you just randomly meet. That would be certainly my suggestion. I have a great lender that I work with, and I could definitely recommend him. You could go work with him and he would give us a smooth transaction, which is exactly what we want. No stress, right? So then is the fun part. We go shopping. And I send you a whole bunch of homes to look at, and you go through them and you find your favorite properties. You drive by them and you love the neighborhood, and then we go shopping. And that's when we look at typically about 5 homes, one of which you will fall in love with. And once you've fallen in love with that home, then we sit down, come back to the office, and write an offer. That is also a fun part, and we talk about how we're going to negotiate. This is when we sit down and we make our plan for negotiations. Where do we want to go with our price? How long do we want to close? Typically, it's going to take about 30 to 45 days to close. Also, you're going to sit down at that point and decide how much you're going to put in escrow. If you're curious what that is, send a message below and I'll let you know. You're going to put escrow, typically 1 to 2% of the purchase price is going to be your escrow amount. And then you're going to have about a 10-day inspection period, which is inspection and cancellation. And I always say, if anything happens and you need to cancel that contract, do it within the first 10 days, because then you don't lose any money, and no one wants to lose money, right? So do it within the first 10 days, get your inspections, and of course if anything comes up on that inspection, then we go back and ask the sellers to take care of it. So I'm getting a little bit ahead. I'm going to go back, we write our offer, and then we submit it to the sellers. And we patiently or not so patiently, wait to hear back from the sellers to decide if they're going to take our offer or if they're not, or if they're going to counter our offer. In a perfect world, they take our offer and we move to the next step. The next step is going to be to deliver the escrow to the title company, which, like I said, is typically 1 to 2%. They're going to hold that money until closing, and then they're going to give it back to us. Then, after we've done that, then we hire our inspector. And again, go to your real estate agent, your knowledgeable, expert real estate agent, and say, hey, who is your inspector? Who do you use? And who do you recommend that will do a good job for us? Use that inspector, or if you know someone else, you could use them as well. Get your inspector, call him, and schedule an appointment just as soon as possible. And guys, I'm telling you, he's going to spend hours in this home, and he's going to have more knowledge about the home than probably the builder himself. I even have my inspectors go out on my new builds, and I'm telling you, they always find something, even if it's small. But that's very important to do. I always recommend to get a home inspection on a house. That way you know exactly what you're buying. So after we get our home inspection, then we sit down again together and we review the inspection report and just make sure that the house is still, of course, in good standing, and essentially there's nothing other than a couple small things going on with the house. If there is anything major, don't panic. It's okay, we can work through that. What we do is we go to the seller and say, Mr. Seller, I'm sure you had no idea, but there's a huge hole in your roof right inside the kitchen. He probably knew if that was the case. Obviously, I'm being a little extreme. But let's just say it's something crazy like that, or the roof needs to be replaced, or the AC needs to be replaced, maybe plumbing, electric, all of your main appliances are what we really, really want to know about. So when we go back to the seller and we say, you know, we've got a couple issues that came up on the roof, and we'd like to ask the sellers to take care of those matters. Generally, the sellers are going to work with you on that because they know if they don't take care of them for you, the next buyer that comes is also going to have that same request. No one wants to buy a house with issues with the roof or something of that nature. So generally, they are going to work with you on that, and they'll replace those items for you. And then we go on to our next step. Our inspection period closes, and that's when the lender sends out an appraiser. What is an appraiser? That is a great question. So an appraiser is someone from the bank. So the bank sends them out, and they look at all of the comparables, otherwise known as comps. They look at all the comps from the area and say, they bought the house, let's say, at $200,000, and the neighbor sold for $200,000, down the street sold for $198,000, and over there sold for $210,000. I would say $200,000 is a pretty good price and a fair market value. They put their stamp of approval on our price, and then we go to the next step. Sometimes they'll come back and say, you know what, I think they should have bought it for $190,000. Well, then that means the bank is telling you the house is worth $190,000. And then again, we go back to the sellers and say, we would have gladly paid $200,000 for your home. However, it looks like it's only worth $190,000, so we want to know if you will lower the price by $10,000. And it gives them the opportunity to think about it and answer our question, hopefully in our favor. And then we go on to the next step, and that is where the title company steps in, and they do a lien search on the title to make sure you have a clear to close. There is no issues with that title. It is all nice and clean. They get title insurance on the property, and then it goes to the lender. The lender sends everything to underwriting, which just means that all of your finances are in order and we're ready to close. Now is the really fun part. We do a walkthrough of the house just to make sure everything still looks as beautiful as it was the day we fell in love with it. And then we walk to the title company, or drive. We could drive to the title company too. Once you get to the title company, I always say you're going to sign about 45 pages with your signature, so I hope you know how to do it real quick. Otherwise, it might take a while. Once you're done with that, I have the keys. I give you the keys, and then it's home sweet home. And you get to move in. In Florida, I love that we have a day of occupancy. So as soon as you sign those documents, I'm allowed to give you the key, and it's your home. You get to move right in. So start from finish. I know I went super fast, and obviously there's so many details I want to pour into there, but I don't want to overwhelm you either. That is start to finish, how to buy a home. And like I said, I have this awesome chart. I use it all the time. This walks you through the entire chart. starting with, of course, finding a realtor, a lender, looking as far as what house you're looking for, analyze your needs, view the properties, write an offer, negotiate the terms, and so on. It just walks you all the way to it until you get to welcome home, which is when I get to give you the keys and you get to have your home sweet home. Generally, the process takes about 30 to 45 days. If you're a cash buyer, you can close in about 2 weeks. Otherwise, it's about 30 to 45 days. And of course, if you wanted longer, that's just something we negotiate. That's just an average closing date. Anyway, I would love to answer your questions. So any questions you guys have, just put them below and I'll make sure and read all the comments, and I'll either private message you back if it's something a little more personal. Otherwise, I'll just message your answer on this post right here. Happy to answer those. Now, let's get to the fun part. Let's find out who out of all of our amazing people get this basket. So we did the drawing this morning, and like I said, the answer's in here. So we're going to see who won. And this was anyone who commented, liked, or shared our post. You were entered into the drawing each time you did that, and then we did a raffle for it. So the winner is, I need a whole bunch of people to do a drum roll or something. The winner is Catherine Pritchard. Woohoo! Good job, Catherine. Okay, awesome. Well, I will comment you and we'll figure out how we're going to get this to you. Thank you guys so much. I really hope this video was helpful. I know I feel like it's such a huge process to go through it that quickly. It's just almost unfair and unjust. But if you have questions, like I say, put them below. I'm happy to even call you or schedule a meeting. If you're serious about buying, let's schedule a meeting and we'll really spend some time. Typically, it's about 30 minutes that we actually walk through the entire process. Thank you guys so much. Have an amazing Monday, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.